every now and again, but over the season, Watts has kicked the most goals for the Bulldogs.
Crummell goes short. It's a poor kick, being marked by Johnson. So young Brad Johnson, he's played every game this year. Fine young player, his third year of league footy. And usually he's a very good kick. Well, it's a bit slippery right on 50 where he'll be kicking from. You see Peter Swab just holding his head. Ken Judge barking instructions. Unhappy with that kick out. Johnson. He's pushed it wide. So that scenario still remains. Jason Dunstall's booted 6 and Jason Watts has booted 2. Could be history making here, Malcolm. You've seen a bit of history out here at Waverley.
Yes, I have indeed. I just hope at about the 20-minute mark of this quarter the lights stay on. Actually, interesting, Kevin. I thought you called it pretty well then. That mud is it's just a bit harder to kick a goal from there, isn't it? You just don't get that footage lead.
You haven't got the balance to be able to kick through the ball.
This is the problem with Salmon, who's just a dominating player. It's as fit as I've seen Salmon for a couple of seasons as well.
Well, he's played 222 games. He would have lucky to have played 22 in the ruck. I mean, really, this is the first year of his career. I mean, at Aston, where they've had the Maddens and players like that, he's played as a tall key forward. And I mean, at 6'9", the ruck position was always what his physical dimension suited the most.
It's almost as though he burst onto the scene and kicked a lot of goals and became noted as a full forward, wasn't it?
And then with Alessio and Somerville and Madden, they've always thought, well, he's such a good player, we'll put him at full forward.
Exactly, but I'm sure he's enjoying
Look at this.
Playing as a ruckman, floating around the ground.
Actually, Crummell came off with that indiscretion with the kicking, and Lawrence is back on. Kapler sends it wide to Langford. Some body work needed here. Woods and Johnson. The trick here is to keep your feet. If you keep your feet, you're still in the contest. Chick comes and helps out. Socket forward. Footscray, Credior. Ball stays in, just now it's not. And out.
We mentioned that kicking before. I mean, almost the last place you should kick the ball is short into the centre corridor. Even if it comes off, you know, you're not that much sort of better off. But if it doesn't come off, they've got an easy shot at goal. And I think it's really one part of the ground the ball shouldn't be kicked when the opposition are playing his own.
And there is a definite free kick to Paul Salmon. Luke Darcy gets in his back. It's almost you go 9 wide and then 1 in the centre when everyone started to drift out.
It's got to be a certainty, doesn't it? Yes. It's a dangerous part of the ground to turn the ball over.
Here's another one. Salmon comes back into the centre of the ground. Condon waits. Now, so true centre-half back position. Condon chips and goes in short to Lawrence. So Hawthorn have the two bigger fellas on in Lawrence and Salmon. Kicks the ball very high. Langford's been a good player. Smith just had to check himself there. Got back onto it very well. Wine, as he often does, goes with the hands back to Smith. Kellett has to sit and wait for it. Now feeds it out. Quill kicks it and kicks it poorly. He was Taylor. Kicks the ball into the centre-half forward area. Hudson comes at it in the air. Wallace over the back. Has support out wide in Johnson. Uses the handle. Now Collingwood can run. All he needs is good skills here. Mark didn't quite hit him right. Tries to run away from Lekas. Lekas does well, the youngster, chases him from behind. Watts comes out to meet it, comes in very hard. Collins caught high, and players go. Free kick will come back to Andrew Collins, who did go at the footy very hard.
Started the season slowly, Andrew Collins, but has been in pretty good form over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Over 200 league games. Gives it off to Tony Woods to Lawrence. Plenty of support. Taylor caught, backing up by Collins. Down from the back pocket, out in front. Great kick. Finds Hudson. Quick hands. Back to Hargraves. Looking for Dunstall. Took it on the first grab. Trying to get around Campbell. He'll feed the ball off. No U-turn. Back to Hargraves. Back to Dunstall. He's on 60. He's got 3 Hawthorn players. They can raffle it. Pritchard's got it. He may break the spell here and kick a goal for Hawthorn and break the Dunstall spell, who's kicked 6 goals. All of Hawthorn's score. 6-9-45 the Hawks. 2-4-16 Footscray. Pritchard from just inside 50. Just going to hold up right on the line. Punched through by Campbell for 1 point.
Since with the comparison we spoke earlier of Campbell having a good record on Dunstall maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I think in the ensuing 5 or 6 years Dunstall's aged a bit, but I think Campbell's condition has probably gone down a little more so than Dunstall's has.
Yes, he's had a few injuries too, hasn't he? Missed a bit of footy. Yeah. Terry Wallace on the phone. It's a nice long kick, that. Ran right on the square. Ramiro grabs the crumbs to kill it. Going to use the footy here. He does this time and finds Critical now playing up forward. As a player running for him, I really did set Collins a task. Collins is right there with him. Out to meet it is Watts. Been lively up forward. Back to Critical. Swings the ball back around and finds Ramiro. So can Jose Ramiro break the Dunstall and Watts spell? And I certainly will now. And I think that is pathetic umpiring. It was really just a nudge, and Ramiro just took the dive.
I'd like to see the replay. I thought it was a pretty stupid play by Harford, but either Ramiro put on a good act and the umpire fell for it. It's a shove in the back. I mean, that really, when the opposition's got the ball 30, 40 metres out, I think they've got to be a bit more disciplined.
He's kicked it anyhow.
And shoving like that.
Well, Ken Judge took off Crummell before when he had a poor kick out. I suppose we can say Crummell had a crummy kick out. So I suspect that Harford will come off the ground, and there it is straight away.
Yeah, I think it's undisciplined play. I mean, you just can't give the opposition a chance to play for the free kick. And I think Harford did give Ramiro a chance.
Yeah, really. I mean, there was very little. I mean, I believe the umpire was sucked in. He shouldn't have done it, but he...
Well, of course, it's much harder for Ramiro to kick the ball from 45 metres out than it was from on the goal line. And that just might give a bit of heart to Footscray. So they come forward, Martin in hot pursuit. And Chris Langford there showing a turn of speed.
Now, you guys have coached. Would you have taken the young fella off? I know every circumstance is different.
It appears to me that every time a Hawthorn player makes a silly mistake, Ken Judge likes to take them off and tell them.
Yeah, I personally didn't take players off for, I suppose, mistakes of judgment. Certainly the runner had to tell them, and maybe to make the point, taking them off the ground, you can't make the point more savagely than that.
Sometimes it's easier to take the player off the ground when you're in front than when you're behind.
Yes.
I think Malcolm Blight got taken off once for kicking a goal from the boundary line. There's a couple of conflicting stories there. One says that they were struggling, and the other says they were winning easily. Don't know which one's true. Malcolm might be able to tell us.
I think we were about 3 or 4 up, to be honest, Kev. So, but it wasn't easy, I would have thought.
Condon thrown out of the way by Cameron. Well, the other story I've heard, you're 10 goals up.
No, that's not true. Absolutely not. And the coach said that.
Richard Taylor, who's had a very good game, 16 possessions. Don Scott says he's a Lee Matthews lookalike. He's a pretty handsome fella, Lee.
I like the look of him myself. I must say, I did see him in the reserves once, and I thought it was me as a young fella.
Wine dumps it down, taken by Collins. That's where Hawthorn's been very good. They've had the numbers. They're prepared to run out of defence and kick to space. Chick gets a bit of a shove from Smith, then kicks wide, finds Credial. Well, I think it's a pretty good player, Critical, as long as he's not at full back. He gives away a lot of size there. Got to play on the best players in the competition. Collingwood got out of trouble, just kicks a high ball. Griggy has it thumped away. Collins caught by Liberatore, spills clear. Johnson's bundled over the line.
While this passage of play is going on, Nick Holland and Chris Grant are standing basically in front of the goal umpire up Hawthorn. I think Footscray have to try and get Grant into the action somehow, whether it's putting him at centre half forward or something like that. But you know, he's probably their best player, and he's just completely out of the action.
Kick forward by Kellett, and once again Watson in front takes a very accidental high knock. Young Leckers came in at him, and he just slipped. Hopefully he's all right, but it was a courageous mark, and just caught one a bit high. Yes, he's got a nasty cut. Let me have a kick first, he's saying. I think he's all right. I mean, that was good, wasn't it? The player was coming, and then he slid, and that's when